Hey guys, welcome back to the A-Gov podcast where we speak about all things prison, criminal justice, and the black community in general. So let's just get into it. Guys, I'm back after a long hiatus. It's been 3 months, but guys, I can explain. I can explain. I'm an author. Guys, honestly, the book launch took so much out of me and I just needed to decompress and just take a breather because it's been a lot. But nonetheless, if you follow me on TikTok, you see the small content that I've been putting on. Instagram, I've kind of abandoned you guys. I'm sorry. But today, I have a special guest. If I'm going for this long, I'm not going to come empty-handed. I'm not going to come empty-handed. So, I don't even know how to introduce her because I have so many names for her. Some people may know her as Miss Mills. Some people may know her as Paige. But to me, she's sexy girl. But there's a story behind that name and we will get into it. But guys, I'm introducing Paige. Say hi, Paige.
Hi, guys.
Guys, don't be shy. So what I like to do is I'm gonna have I got true or false questions just to ease us into it. Okay. So you just need to answer true or false, and there's only 3 questions. Okay. So true or false? Young prison officers get a bad rep.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, when you're young and in the prison service, you're immediately judged by officers and prisoners, to be fair. Females are more likely to get cheated on inside the prison than out. True or false?
Yeah, that's true. I would say that's true.
That man right there, you think he's locked up.
He is not yours.
The people are sending him in naughty stuff. Some prisoners need to be in mental health hospitals rather than prisons.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know, I feel like with me, I feel like because I've come from the mental health sector, sometimes with certain prisoners, I don't know if it's your behaviour or you're just like this. Because I feel like sometimes some of them put it on, I'm not going to lie. Because, hear me out, when like, obviously you have the prolific self-harmers, but when they like, they'll be like, oh, nah, miss, I like you, so I won't do it.
I feel like that's true, but I feel like you have some people that the mental health is so bad that they will do certain things to themselves that no normal person would ever think of doing. So I do feel like some people, not a lot, but some people do belong in a mental health institution rather than prison.
But then also, I also feel like a lot of people are undiagnosed.
Very true.
Like, these people, is just like, when they crash out, they don't want to say that they have mental health issues. Like, everybody has mental health, but you have issues and you need therapy, you need some sort of counselling. And it's like a lot of people, especially when it comes to being on the act, people like, especially in the black community or mixed heritage, they shy away from that because it's like, oh, those are for people that are tapped or for people that are, cuckoo. It has a bad rep. But it's just like, we just want to check on you and see that you're okay. But if you want to cry in your soul by yourself, then also that's fine.
So be it.
So, guys, this is Paige, Miss Mills, sexy girl, all of the above. We trained together. I want to just ask you, what made you? Because how old are you? Because you're literally like the little sister that I never had. You were so young when you joined the prison service. When you said your age, I was just like, I thought I was a baby girl joining. But you now, I just want to know, what made you join the prison service? What was going through your mind at that point that said, yeah, I'm going to join the prison service, especially the jail that you chose as well?
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't know. It's like I applied and I just didn't think I was ever going to get it. Like, it didn't even cross my mind at first that it was like I was going to get it, because they had initially emailed me and they said, you didn't pass. And I was like, well, I don't care. Because I was going for a different job anyway. And then they emailed me back and said, you got the job. And then I was like, do you know what? This might be interesting. It might just be interesting. It might be something I want to do. I might try it and I might not like it. It is what it is. And then
So there just wasn't much.
There wasn't much. No, there wasn't much.
There's no story saying, "Oh, I just want to change lives."
No,
I wanna like you just thought, oh, let me just apply.
Literally, it was the most casual thing ever. Like I genuinely didn't think I was even gonna get it. Like even when they said I had passed and I had gone through the second assessment and interview, and I was like, oh, okay.
But what actually made you feel like, yeah, I'm gonna go through with this job? Because you had other options.
It's true. I feel like when I had gone to my first day, because I mean you have time to pull out, and I was just like, okay, maybe this is not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. And I feel like I was very naive. Actually, I was very naive because I don't think I had much experience with the prison system. So I was kind of going into it blind, and the only thing I kind of saw over the first 2 weeks was kind of like, everyone was nice. Yeah. But that's just because you're fresh meat.
You're fresh meat.
You're fresh meat. Everyone was nice. Like there was no issues. I don't think I saw anything particularly bad in my first 2 weeks. I just thought, okay, yeah, this is fine. And I'm a very strong person. I'm very strong-minded. And if I've started something, I'm going to see it through. Like I have to experience it, whether I like it or not.
Right, guys. When I met her, when you had your braids, your stitch braids, your lashes, I was just like, who's this girl? But you were so outspoken, so like what you see is what you get. We were the only like in our training. So I was just like, I saw her, I looked, I was like, I'm gonna stick beside her. And I just feel like the journey that we've had is that we went from being colleagues to being the closest, that you're my sister. And it's just like, I don't know how I would have gotten through the prison service without you, because when she worked in the London jail, we trained together in her jail, which was a London jail, and I was what was classed as Outer London. If you watch my other podcasts, you would know. And just the experiences that we had were just so different. So I just want to, like, we're going to get to training and how that went later, but how did you navigate? Because at the end of the day, you're a light-skinned woman, you're young, you're a female. You have so much narratives, you have so much that intersect and so much preconceptions that people have, whether you work in the prison or not. People have something to say about light-skinned girls, young girls, pretty girls. And I know people want to say, oh, you're only saying that she's pretty because she's light-skinned. No, she's just look at her. She's beautiful. But how did you navigate walking into a prison with these horny men, and standing your ground?
I feel like you know me. I'm a very outspoken person.
They don't know you.
Well, I'm a very outspoken person. I can say that. So it's just like, when I'm getting these comments, I'm going to tell you, just shut up. Like, just shut your mouth. Like, I don't know what else to say to you. Or I'll just ignore them, because it's just like, the only reason you probably think I'm more attractive is because you are in a situation where maybe there's not a lot of attractive females. Do you understand what I mean?
So just maybe?
Just maybe. Like, so I just, like, it wasn't only prisoners that it came from. So I think sometimes it could be hard navigating, especially because
but that's the thing. Let's actually talk about that, because people only think the people that are like, so that sexualized women as prisoners, but it's actually staff.
You officers are just as bad.
Are just as bad, or probably even worse.
Yeah.
Or probably even worse if we actually keep it above.
Yeah.
And how did you navigate it, having it from both sides and obviously turning them all down?
I felt like it was very awkward, and I feel like, especially when it came from officers, I didn't know how to feel. Like, prisoners, you can just say whatever you want to them, essentially. Like, just stop talking, like, don't say stuff like that. But officers is kind of awkward because you work with these people, you build rapport with these people. So it's like, if I now turn around and say something to you that you may not like, let's say if I was to get into like a restraint. Are you going to be there? You might think, listen, look what you said to me last week and now look at you. Shame on you. So it's just like, I mean, I had a lot of comments, especially from men that could be my father. And I mean, just to preface, I came into the prison service at 20. Like, I think I was like 6 months, like 20 and 6. I don't even know, like 6 months prior. So it was hard. And I think as well, I gained a lot of weight when I was in the prison service. And I think I started off so skinny, and then by the time I think the comments got worse and worse and worse because my body was filling out. I was becoming a woman.
Yeah.
And I think it did kind of get harder, and I think we will see that because I think this is probably one of, I wouldn't say it's one of the reasons I left, but I would say that it's a contributing factor as to why I left the prison service.
Okay. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. How did you then build a rapport, a healthy rapport with prisoners?
I think with me, it's what you see is what you get. I'm never going to say, yeah, I can do this, or yeah, you can do. No, like a no with me is a no. That's it. It's not no, and then you're going to ask me 10 times and it's going to be a yeah, okay, it's fine. No, like.
People think you're rude.
Yeah. I think they thought I was rude, but then again, I do think it is a preconception. They look at me and think, oh, you just have no manners. But sometimes it's like prisoners like to push boundaries. So if you don't create the boundaries and they don't understand that they can't be stepped on or stepped over, then it just creates more issues.
Or did you get a thing where they thought that you would turn a blind eye to corruption?
Do you know what? I'm actually shocked because in my just over 2 years of service, I don't think the amount of people that had asked me to do something, very small. Like, I could genuinely count on one hand.
But the thing is, I feel like with that, when you're established on the wing, word gets around.
Yeah.
So someone will come in and they'll be like, who's that?
Yeah.
They'll be like, forget it with her.
Yeah, that's what they used to say that.
It's a long day. If you don't want to get embarrassed, yeah, just leave it.
Yeah. I actually witnessed that. One of, I had like a long-standing feud with a prisoner. He was so rude all the time. And one of the prisoners came up and said, yeah, listen, not with her. Just, it's just not even worth your time. The next day, he pressed his bell. I said, hello, how can I help? He said, miss, I just want to apologize. Like, I'm actually so sorry. Like, I know the man, they're all on the wing saying, no, miss, you can't do that to me. You can't do that to me. And I'm just like, well, now you understand.
Do you know what? I'm going to say it, and I say this a lot. I feel like being black worked in my favour because the amount of things that I said that was so out of pocket, not even out of pocket, but I was so blunt and so quick with it when they will try and hype up and I'm like, do you think you're talking to your baby mum? Everyone's just like, whoa. Like, it's like, you know, you're a prison officer, professional, but I'm like, I need to keep it a buck with you. Who do you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
And, you know, people get in a struggle, people feel embarrassed or whatever. But really and truly, when it comes down to it, I do my job. So they'll respect that. Yeah. So sometimes I'm just like, hey, if I wasn't black, I think I would have gotten potted or would have gotten beaten up because, mate, some of the things that I would say and the confidence that I'll have to step to certain prisoners that other officers wouldn't dare. They'll be like, he's so big, but me, I'll be there. Like, I'll be like, you do know that everybody's scared of you. You do know that everybody... like, and the thing is, they capitalize on that. When they know they're that person... I'm just like, they know that I'm not scared of them, so it's just like, the guard goes down because it's like, you know I'm not scared of you. You know that I don't really care like that. You can say whatever you want, but yeah. Let's talk about when boundaries are crossed. I remember there was a time of training, we just got here. I will let you tell the story because it's not my story to tell.
Okay. Do I look into the camera for this?
Well.
Okay, so... when I first started the prison service, obviously we had our initial first 2 weeks. We got to go on the wing and we trained. Well, we didn't really train. We was just kind of observing. We were shadowing. We was observing. And then while I was in training, I received a text message on my phone. And I was a bit confused. And I still do have the screenshot of it. Yeah, I still have the screenshot of it as well. And it was someone basically saying, oh, I think you would know who this is, basically alluding to who he was. I got your number from X. And he said some other stuff like, oh, I hope you, if you don't want to speak to me, it's fine. We can leave it here. Just do not tell them that I have a phone. And I was like, I'm in a position where I'll say my identity, essentially, my privacy has been compromised by someone I actually know outside of the prison service. And I think I feel like that's when I feel like things kind of got real. Like, oh my gosh, like, what do I actually do? Like, you need to have a
Do you
lot
know
of
what is mad?
integrity.
Like, I remember you coming in and saying, Sandra, just look at this.
And she was the
message."
first person I told. She was the first person I told because I was like, what do I do? Like, this is the first situation we've ever had. Like, we've barely made it into training.
We just got here. And the thing is, for me, is what's mad is that somebody from outside that's not in prison gave somebody that they know is clearly in prison your number.
Exactly.
Like,
and the wildest thing is how they even put 2 and 2 together. Bearing in mind, I am not in this person's age bracket. I probably think I'm probably like 10 years younger than this person, just to preface. Why you would assume that this is something that is okay, considering the person did know I had started the prison service.
I just find that that's wild. That's crazy work.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving a prisoner, someone that I don't know, my number. Like, what? I just want to know, like, what was the logic behind that? And I feel like, I'm not going to lie, no disrespect, I feel like a lot of people are airheads and people don't think. People don't think.
Yeah.
Because even when it comes to comments on my Instagram or they're just like, oh, like, I don't know why you put yourself in decision, or I would just let a prisoner out. And I'm just like, if you actually think like that, it's actually it's very wild and it's very concerning. And you stay not wanting to be a prison officer because I think the prison is safe.
It doesn't need you.
It doesn't need you. The prison doesn't need you. Because I'm just like, how do you feel like that's okay?
And I don't feel like they did after, when I addressed it. I don't feel like they did. But the rationale behind it was
prisoner officer number. How does that work? What was the motive behind giving the number? How did you think that was going to end up? And where did they think they thought that you wasn't going to report it? What did they think was going to happen?
But to be fair, I'm sorry guys, I know how to say, but one thing about me, I can't go to jail. I cannot go to jail. It was my first week. Like, well, it wasn't my first week, but I think it was my first week of training.
Yeah, it was our first week of training.
So bearing in mind, I had probably been in the jail for 3 weeks at this time. So I came in and I told Sandra, I said, Sandra, this is what happened. I'm going to go out at lunchtime. I'm going to show you the text message. What do I do? Like,
I said, go to counter corruption. I said, sing. I said, save your ass because you just got here. This is like, at the end of the day, the worst thing that will happen to a prisoner, they'll go to the seg. There'll be a whole investigation. At the end of the day, it's your character.
And bearing in mind, guys, I didn't even have keys. I didn't have a button. I didn't have anything. And there was already stuff going on around the jail.
Yeah, they will literally just send you packing. So just like, it's not working.
It was just like, do I save myself? Do I save him? No, I don't know you from anywhere. You've literally violated my privacy. So yeah, I just went down to security and I said, listen, this is the situation. And it was quite upsetting because it's like, I have to change my number now.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll have to be very mindful of
who you told.
Yeah, of who I tell. But then it's also, I need to just be just very cautious even within the establishment.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know. You just don't know. Like, that place is so unpredictable. It's wild.
Yeah. You do not know. What about, because obviously you worked in London, you lived in London. It was very different for me where I worked. Not that you worked close to your jail, but the likelihood of you seeing somebody that you know or someone that you know of in prison or someone that you have mutual with was very high compared to me. How did you deal with dealing with people that you know of, or they know your friend or your family member, or they know your boy? Like, how did you navigate that?
I feel like I was kind of lucky with the wing that I got put on. Because I was not from the same area as the guys that were on there. I didn't really know anyone. To my knowledge, I didn't know anyone that was affiliated with these people. So it was just like, I mean, I had obviously had instances where I've gone on to different wings and I'm like, like, I know this person.
What are you doing here?
But in terms of that, like, I didn't really care because I feel like if you know me and you know me outside of jail, or you just know anyone that knows me, you know the type of person I am. So you just kind of know I have very strong boundaries. Don't even turn your head to look at me. Do you know what I mean? Just don't do it. I think there was probably only one instance ever that someone had actually walked past me and said my name. And it's like, okay, what can I do? I'm probably like, I think 18 months in now. Okay, probably half of you know my name by now. Congratulations.
When they try,
I mean?
I feel like it's so funny when prisoners feel like they have one up on you because they know your name.
Yeah.
Regardless of the fact, you can say that on the slide, but you have to call me Miss with your chest. So
yeah,
you can whisper Sandra. You can whisper Paige. But when you're addressing me and you want me to do something for you, what are you calling me, Miss? So relax with that one. But I feel like I don't know why I was so scared of prisoners know my name. I remember when the guy literally screamed my name from the top of the landing that I felt like my mom.
You build this life, like you build this, essentially you do build a life within there. You build a whole different identity.
Identity.
You're two different people.
Like honestly, and I feel like I kept my persona very well. And I feel like even now that I'm literally public and talking about the prison service openly and I'm getting prisoners messaging me, I just don't know what to do with myself because I'm just like, mate, prisoners are actually seeing the real me, essentially. Not that I wasn't real there, but I just feel like you can't, they tell you, oh, be yourself in the prison service, but you actually can't be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Without being side-eyed, without being looked at.
Or without being investigated by prisoners. So you can't be yourself. You can't be yourself.
Or they'll be like, oh, I found God. No one's ever told me that they found me on Instagram or they found me on But I don't know if you can say the same, but how did you deal with that when people are like, yeah, I found you on Instagram or I found you on this?
I mean, I was just like, okay.
What do you want me to do?
Because you know what it was as well? It's just so funny. It's just like, they felt like they knew so much
about you.
About me. Yeah, and it's like, you found my Instagram, but you actually don't know nothing. Because every single time, and I literally mean every single time, they would always say I'm from this one place. One place. And I'm thinking, I don't live nowhere near there. I am not even from that area. So hallelujah. Like, think that, because if you guys feel like you've seen my personal life, essentially, you've seen my Instagram, and you guys still assume that I'm from a certain place, run with it. Yes, I am. How did you know? How did you know?
When they're like, you behave like a... I was like, yeah, Peckham, PYG, peace, that. Me. Hey. Honestly, it milked it. Because you actually know nothing about me. And it's so funny how far from... Like, they actually think they know. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just... Prison is just such a wild place. And I don't know, what are your views on... Because I feel like you worked in a remand jail and I worked in resettlement. So remand is like when people come into court. It's like a, what do you call it? People go in and out. Like people don't really stay there for long. Well, you're not supposed to stay in a remand jail long term. Resettlement is somewhere where you kind of rehabilitate. You know, you kind of stay there, you do your sentence there, a big chunk of your sentence in a resettlement jail. What would you say was the difference? Because when we would talk on the phone and I'll be like, oh, like our associations like this, or when you say that, I can't remember, when you would talk about your landings and how things are set up and what type of officers you have for this, for that, I'm just like, what kind of, you have 1 hour regime per side or per block? I was just like, huh, they're not out the whole afternoon. You're like, no, I'm just like, it was just so different. I'm just like, how the heck are you managing that many prisoners?
I mean, I think it was a 23-hour bang-up jail. So I would say compared to you in terms of interaction with prison, it was a lot easier.
Because you didn't really have to do much.
Yeah, so unless you was like, you did moves, which is basically essentially bringing people from induction wing to their actual wings. Yeah. And doing obviously movements across the jail. You'd essentially, I wouldn't say you didn't really do much because it's not an easy job.
It's not an easy job, but
you didn't really do much.
Yeah.
You had association for an hour a day. You had your cleaners out. That's about it.
You know, that's actually crazy. Being out for 1 hour of the 23 that you need to shower, you need to eat, talk to humans.
And I think the only thing, and I think I've looked at it a lot more coming out of the prison service. I think it can, like, being in jails where you are doing 23-hour bang up for, let's say you're in there for a petty crime, like stealing from Sainsbury's. Like, it's a crime.
Yeah.
But is it fair to keep you in one box for that long?
But that, do you know what? That's what, coming out of jail, I actually realized that you can be a petty crime, as you said, stealing from Sainsbury's, to being a rapist, and you get the same treatment.
And you could be in the same cell.
And you can be in the same cell. And for me, that is just crazy. And the way the criminal justice system works, I'm just like, surely there should be a greater punishment for people that commit certain crimes. I just don't feel like it's justice. As much as people that preach for rehabilitation and I feel like just certain things, listen, I'm a Christian, I believe in showing grace, but I just feel like there's certain people needs to face their consequences. What are you telling me that these people are sleeping in beds, watching TV, like you've done that, you're comfy. Yeah. You're comfy. Because really and truly, like, homeless people don't like to leave prison, and they recommit crimes so that they can come back for Christmas times, for those type of times. So I'm just like, what is actually prison?
I mean, a lot of the people, like a lot of prisoners that I went to, they will describe it as a youth club. Essentially, it's time for prisoners to go in there, do whatever they want to do. And, you know, obviously, especially being in an inner London jail, I think even out of London, to be fair, it's separated into gangs. Yeah. So you're with your boys.
You're with your boys.
You're living life.
You're on the block, basically.
Literally, you're on the block, you know, and then you have officers that will allow them to be on the landing past their hour regime. So you have about 6-7 guys on the landing.
Did you give people grace?
I feel like in the beginning I was a bit more lenient. And I soon realized no. Like, no. But I did still give some people grace. Yeah. I did, honestly. And it was just like, going into the prison service, you see people's stories, and some people's stories are just so sad that you genuinely feel like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, do you get it? Like, especially with young boys that have just come from YYs and they're coming into this jail where it's just full of older people. And it's just like, oh my gosh. Although there is still a lot of YAs in there. Yeah. YAs, young offenders, guys. So under 21s.
Yeah, prison lingo.
And it's hard for them to navigate. I feel like towards the end, I mean, is it preferential treatment? Essentially, yeah, I have to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like when people say, did you have a favourite prisoner? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Ginge, if you're watching this. Nah, honestly, I had a favourite prisoner, and I would say it with my chest. And I feel like a lot of people just like, oh, like, I remember there was a rumour going around about me from a prison officer, and he would say, I like darker, younger prisoners. And I'm like, what does that even mean? My favourite prisoner is white and ginger. Okay? Yeah. Like, that's my favourite prisoner. And it's not even that he's my favourite prisoner, because he just follows the regime. He doesn't bother me. He bangs up. So I'll be like, what do you want? When there's like tight bang up and like no one's coming out, I'll be like, do you want to come out? Because I can trust you to go to the showers and come back. And you're not talking on people's doors and doing higgy hagger. So when I can make leeway for you in certain situations, I will, because you've built that trust with me where you just won't play about.
And I think a lot of prisoners don't understand that.
And I feel they just thought, oh, you just prefer. No, is you're a person of your word. When you show me that you can keep your word, okay, then, and I feel like that's the muscle that they had to learn to exercise, because you know these men, they're not men of their word.
Yeah.
They're not men of their word.
They're
not men of their words. They just talk, but there's no action to back up what they're saying. So then when I tell you once, and I'm seeing you talk at someone's door and you're not going back to yourself, especially when there's tight bang up, why are you going to people's doors so they can be like, let me out, why is this person out? Just go and come back.
Yeah. And I'm so sorry, guys. For me, I should only have to tell you once. If I have to even open my mouth to tell you the second time, oh, you better know next time it is the stiffest bang up you're ever gonna have. Because I just feel like you're not being respectful now. I will respect your time, and I will respect that you don't want to do everything in your search if you just respect me. If you feel like, especially when it comes to bang up, I mean, we cut off regime very early in the day compared to you guys. And it's like, especially with cleaners and workers, if I'm telling you're a worker because, I mean, essentially we trust you, right? We trust you enough to be out to work. And it's like, if you're not listening, why are you working on the wing? Why are you working on the wing? If I tell you to go in the shower and you decide not to go in the shower, now we're gonna have a problem.
Do you feel like they took well to female authority?
No, not at all. I don't think so. Especially in a Romanjo as well. Like, I don't think it would always be. I remember this was like one of my first interactions with someone that wasn't on my wing. And it was an older man. And he had come down and he was like, "You're a little girl. Do you think you can tell me to bang up?" I had to just turn my head and say, "Sorry? As long as I'm wearing this uniform, I'ma tell you to bang up. How about you don't commit the crime? Don't commit the crime if you don't want a little girl telling you to bang up." And that's the one thing that I always got.
And that's on everything.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would say. I was like, you're young enough to be my daughter. Well, then don't commit a crime.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to say. I'm at the legal age to work here. I'm working here. Bang up.
Yeah. That was like so many prisons like that. So many, even like people, you could be a prisoner my age and they'll be like, "Yeah, but Miss, you're a girl." Okay, what does that mean? Sorry. They employed me, so I'm here to do my job.
Right.
Like, what do you mean?
Right.
But then I do feel like being a female, it can work in your favor. It can.
It can. So I feel like we're not gonna delve too much into this, but I want to talk about corruption because I feel like it's a topic that I always bring up. It's a topic that we're both passionate about. That
I think it's the most important topic when it comes to the prison
service. And I feel like a lot, and we've seen now in the news a lot of things going around with black females. One was one got caught on her body cam.
Which, guys, just to preface, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen because, like, rookie error. Like, like, how? Like, I don't understand it. Wild.
When I see things on Shea Borough, Daily Mail, all of this stuff, and I'm just like, how the heck was your body worn camera on whilst you were there jigging with a prisoner? Like, what?
I was literally speaking to my friend about this the other day, and I was like, that's God. Because you can't turn it on. It doesn't automatically come on, guys. You have to press it.
And pour that.
Yeah, you have to press it.
Like, it doesn't just come on.
And there's a red light flashing, so you can see it. So it's just like,
I don't like, and I feel like we're both young. We both look like the stereotypical girls, and we don't look like girls that would work in the prison. You wouldn't look at us when we go out or when we're out and say that, what do you do? That you know when we went out and they're like, oh, how did you meet each other? We're just looking at each other, yeah, we work together, but nobody will probably think, oh, office job, HR, something like that. Something cute, something very demure. Nobody will ever think, we're in the prison together. We learn how to restrain together. That's how we learn our bread and butter together. And I don't know, like, just seeing that and seeing how, especially when it's black girls and when it's mixed race girls, I don't know, I just feel away. Because I'm just like, I'm just like, shouldn't you know better? Shouldn't you know the game?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you know the game? Like, why are you falling into people's palms? And this is why I feel like some of them, like, I'm just like, how can you make such a mistake? Were you employed by them? Were you recruited? You must have. Like, for me, I just can't make sense out of it. Like, I can understand how prisoners are very crafty and how they try to, like, they're very subtle. They'll be very nice to you.
But do you know what? I'm sorry, I don't understand it. I still do not understand it.
No, I feel like, especially when you work in a jail where, hear me out, when you work in a jail where every staff is against you, everybody thinks you're a piece of crap, and the only people that are backing you are prisoners. you may not see it, but slowly, if they're the only people that you're talking to when you're on that A-day, 12-hour shift, you're going to start to forget where you are. And I feel like that video of me on TikTok when I'm complaining about my shirt being ripped off, guys, like, sometimes, not that you forget that you're working in a prison, but prison isn't as bad as people say it is. We wouldn't have been there that long if these prisoners were just these violent animals that were just, as soon as they come out of their cells, they come and attack you. Like, come on now, like, Chelsea, come on now. Like, we're not daft. And I feel like sometimes they're the boys, they're normal boys. You get, they're normal guys, they're normal people. So when you build a rapport with certain people, you have normal conversations. But I feel like some people don't have that professional boundary, or they don't put that boundary in place. So you're having conversation, one thing leads to another, and then now you're just, I'm so sorry. You see me? Even if you're the most best looking person, as long as you're in that jail, and
you look different. I can't even see you. I could see you in jail and see you outside of jail and think this is two different people, because I am not looking at you. I can't
see you. Like I'm not looking at you. Yeah. Like, you're not nice in my eyes. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Very unattractive.
No. But I don't understand it. And to be fair, you know what? I've dealt with corruption in the jail that I was in. I've seen it firsthand. And there are some beautiful girls just writing themselves off just for... And I'm like, there's millions of men in this world.
And you're picking a jail guy. Like, like, for me, that's what I would not understand. But then it's more to do with the person and not with the prisoner, because that's a self-esteem issue. It's a self-esteem issue, because why, what is it? Is that your man's in one place? And that goes back to the question that I first asked you. They think, oh, because they're locked up in this place, they're not talking to anybody, or they are the center of their world because they're in this predicament. I'm just like, listen, there was people in prisoners that will have on their video chat, girlfriend number 1, wife, girlfriend number 2, side chick. And that's what they'll be named as on their video links. And I used to clown them and troll them, be like, you don't want me to come down to the visit hall. I say, is that Bianca? Oh, sorry, it's Chantal. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Because you're rotating girls like
it's fun.
Like it's fun.
And just to say, guys, prisoners will have about 4 or 5 girls on their wall, different pictures, everything.
And girls, stop sending your pum-pum.
Yeah, we see it.
We see
everything.
Please.
We see everything.
Respect yourself. And just remember, if your man isn't rated on the wing and the boys get a hold of that picture, your picture is getting violated on a different level. And I'm just like, babe, respect yourself, because it's not private. You think, oh, it's a little cute, intimate that he's going to keep to himself. Just remember, even if he puts it in a little corner, someone will see it. We have to, the OSGs have to open it to make sure that drugs ain't getting smuggled in. Officers are nosy as heck, so they'll open it anyways because it's already open. When we're doing cell search and we're looking for stuff, you will see it. Like, it's going to see somebody's eyes. It's not for his eyes only. And when you're walking into this visit, people are just like, rah, I've seen her bits. Like, you're just walking.
Like, genuinely, that is genuinely what we think. Like, oh my gosh, I see your, like, I see your girl. Like, I know exactly what she looks like.
And
like,
it's
what the hell?
It's like, yeah, it's just not good. Yeah. And I feel like you can accidentally misplace things in prison.
I just feel like, do you know what it is? A lot of people are very lazy with leaving their door open as well sometimes. So it's
like,
just
you're
like,
not hurt. You're not
like,
you're not in
do you know where you are? Like, there's literal thieves in here.
Like,
there's literal thieves in here. And you leave yourself open and it's like, any picture can get taken. I mean, I've seen guys rotate pictures around the wing, guys, just to let you know. Like, they will actually come to the offices and be like, miss, do you mind taking these pictures over to them? I'm like, listen, you lot do your business when you're on association, or you find someone else to do it, because you are just traveling. They're sending pictures of girls around the wing and they're trading it for food.
Don't do trade-offs. Like, your Nyash is being traded off, man. Your Nyash is being traded off for freaking expired chicken. That's what your Nyash is worth.
Some extra food on the servery. It's being sent.
It's being sent.
They don't care.
That's what that is. Literally. So that they can have a little.
Yeah. I think that was the most wild thing. Like, not one. Well, I think it was one of the most wild things to me.
Yeah,
but like, how can these images even get through?
And you know what is crazy is that these girls are actually, some of the girls, some were beautiful. I would look at them and just like, baby. You know, sometimes I would want to come to the visit hall and just shake some of these girls and be like, why are you doing this to yourself? You do know that your Nyash is the topic of conversation. You know that your Nyash is the topic of conversation. And I feel like a lot of people are so oblivious to what goes on in prison, because how would you know?
Yeah.
They all downplay it and say, you know, I don't know, just lure shit to the girl, make her feel nice and make her feel like, no. Like, this is literally, I don't know, I feel like they started being less, because prisons weren't getting visits, they were more lenient with the type of pictures people can send in. But now COVID is over, cut it out.
But to be fair, I feel like I said as well, the jail I worked in, very different. Like, ours is very segregated with gangs. There's only one visit a week for each wing, because we cannot mix. Like, there's no mixing at all. There's not even, I mean, after COVID, there was free flow. There's no free flow. It doesn't even exist in that jail.
Like, when you're like, there's no free flow, I was like, so how do prisoners move about? And
Free
because
flow,
we started in COVID, I feel like you guys kept your COVID regime.
Yeah, I feel like our governor came and she said, if we were to start free flow again, it would be catastrophic for the jail. We would be having, I mean, it was already bad. I mean, one day we had 8 alarm bells in the morning. We start at 7:45. We open the doors at 8:15, and by 12 o'clock we had 8 alarm bells.
But it gets one rookie mistake for something bad to happen.
And trust me, guys, I've seen it. Like, people
eyes getting jerked.
People have been stabbed so bad because officers are just sometimes, they can be so incompetent, and it's just like, you don't know how to do your job. That's it. You just don't know how to do your job.
Right. This is crazy. And I feel like it's just so different, especially because when I would call you and be like, oh my God, this prisoner has come from this prisoner has come from this, and and then he was like, oh, they'll be like, you know Miss Mills? Yeah. She was rude, you know. I was like, don't talk about my sister like that. But now she was actually cool, but at first she was rude. No.
I feel like a lot of prisoners just had to know me to understand me and how I was.
Listen, I'm just like, prison is just, I don't know. When you left, I was just like, bro, I'm still gonna rant to you. I'm still gonna tell you how much of a hellhole this place is. And it's just like, I don't know. Having you work in a remand jail was good, because when you would have your list of what prison, you call me and say so and so is coming. And then you will tell me how they're like, so you know how to move around certain type of prisons. So that was a benefit. That was a perk. And I don't know, I just feel like when prisoners will tell me how different in and how easy it is to get stuff, and everybody hates my prison because it's so hard to like get things, and you know they have to do more work, more grafting for them to get what they want, or like things are more expensive to buy certain things because it's not as accessible. So it was just very interesting that when you would tell me stories or you would say certain things, I'm just like, I couldn't imagine working in such an environment. I would actually quit, because it's like, how am I working knowing that you're corrupt, everybody's corrupt.
And I think as well, guys, it was a big thing in my jail. Like, there was a lot of corruption, and some of it was so plainly in your face. It's just like, how have you not been sacked yet? Like, I didn't understand it, and I think that was a big thing that I struggled with. Like, you know, you're working a landing with someone that is corrupt. How do you, like, that's one of the hardest things to navigate, because I don't go for that. So it's like, essentially you're controlled by the prisoners. You are. Because if they wanted to rat on you, they could. So now you're restricted of what you can do. So now imagine I'm standing 10 toes down on what I'm saying to whatever prisoner, and now you're gonna run.
But they can't back you with their chest, because you're the one that's bringing in the things.
Exactly.
But when you catch somebody with a phone, it's the person that's standing next to you that gave it to them.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Is that, and I feel like, and I just will reiterate this to the top of my lungs, being corrupt isn't a flex. They got you by the neck.
Yeah. And just remember, you're going to end up in a worse place than them. I mean, they're already in jail. What, like, nothing changes for them. They might get 7 days extra on their sentence. Round of applause. You're now going to go to jail. It's probably haunted in there as well. You're going to go to jail. And for what? Genuinely, for what? It's not worth it.
Right. Just to wrap it up, because we're having a conversation. How was it leaving the jail, and how's life after jail? And have prisoners found you?
How was it leaving the jail?
Life?
I mean,
what actually was like? What was it? Is like, you know what? I've had enough. Like, it's time for me to move on.
So, I had a prisoner, and he was quite odd. I'll say this. I'm so sorry. If you ever see this, he knows I think he's odd anyway, so it's fine. Like, it is what it is. He wrote me a love letter. And it wasn't just a love letter. It was like, oh, yeah, miss, I'm confessing my love to you. Like, bearing in mind, once again, this is an older man, at least 10 to 12 years older than me. And the love letter was 4 pages, back and front. So essentially 8 pages. And I literally only got through the first half of the page before I said, okay, this is a big issue. Yeah. This is a very big issue. It was disgusting. It was absolutely vile. And I feel like I had no support from my seniors. And I feel like that was the point where it's like, I know I'm a good officer. Yeah. I mean, you guys come to me for everything. I practically run the wing.
Right.
So it's kind of like, what are you going to do? You're going to lose a good officer because you guys can't
manage this prisoner.
Yeah. And I mean, he wasn't the easiest prisoner to deal with. No, he wasn't. But I feel like there's such a lack of support, especially for female staff in the prison service. And in the jail I was in, sexual assault and stuff like that was very high. So I think that was my wake-up call. Like, they don't value you. You're not valued. You're just a number. And once your number's gone, once you take them epaulets off, that's it. They don't care. You
know, but that's the thing. That prisoners, they feel like, oh yeah, we're just numbers. But same as officers, we're just numbers.
We are. We're literally
just numbers. Like, even when all the whole situation happened with me, like, you don't get support.
No.
They put you in the mess, and they don't want to take you out of it, or they don't want to do the necessary steps to protect you. Like, even when the hostage situation happened with the prisoner, like, they brought him back to the wing that I was working in, and I'm like, excuse me, this man really did try and drag me into a cell, but they care about his safety more because he couldn't go anywhere else. So my safety should be put at risk for him. He's committed the crime, so he needs to charge it. I'm so sorry, tough.
Yeah.
If you have to be on separate regime, be on separate regime. So now you want to the governor had to come and sit me down. And I was just looking at her like, oh, you actually just having a bluff.
And that's exactly what happened to me. I had to go, and I was like, why has he not been moved? Like this. And when I mean, like, guys, it was so bad. They literally said to me, if you want a restraining order, you actually have grounds to file for one. Like, it was that bad. Why do you guys feel like I would be comfortable working on the wing? And then I got moved. And said, oh, well, we can't find anywhere for him, so you're going to have to move. And I'm just like, why do I need to move?
What the hell?
Why do I have to move? So now I've been uprooted from somewhere I'm so used to. I know the regime. I know everything. I know all the prisoners for one person. And I think, that was literally just my wake-up call. After that, I started looking for jobs and said, I'm on the next bus out. And when I did my exit interview, I told them, bye. You lot don't help. You lot don't do anything.
Yeah, same. When I did my exit interview, they were shocked. But yeah, honestly, so how's life now? How's it when have you bumped into any prisoners?
Yeah.
And how's it like?
Surprisingly, not as bad as I thought. I think I've seen a mix of prisoners. Prisoners I got on with, prisoners I didn't really get on with too well. And I think a lot of them, they're very respectful. And I think sometimes being in there can bring out the worst in some people. Yeah. And there's heightened emotion. It's essentially a community where people, they think a lot. They have 23 hours to sit in their cell and they think. So they get very angry about a lot of stuff. So I think coming outside and seeing me on the outside, it's like, do you know what, miss? You probably wasn't even that bad. Like, it is what it is. Like, you're cool people. Yeah, like, it is what it is. And to my honest surprise, no one actually has called me by my first name, bearing in mind. And that got, like, my first name got exposed quite early on.
Yeah.
And they will still come to me and they'll say, oh my gosh, Miss Mills. And I'm like, okay, you have some respect. Yeah. So yeah, life after.
That for me, it's just like now just being public. Like, I don't know why people think I still work in the prison service. Do you think you don't talk? You're very selective with who you told, and I had a very tight community, and this is why I was so grateful for the friendships that I've made in there, because it's like you guys held it together, because it's not everybody there you can say, hey, I'm a prison officer. Yeah, like it's not something that you spoke about with your chest. It was very, you know, now you can speak about it freely, because like we've been out of there. Well, I've been out of there a year and a bit, so you've been out there what, over 2 years?
So since the beginning of 2024.
Yeah, so you've been out of there.
No, 2023. 2 years, yeah. So 2 years and a bit now.
Yeah, 2 years and a bit. And I left in the beginning of 2024. So it's like, mate, it's just crazy stuff. But I'm glad that we're both thriving, both living our lives. And honestly, guys, prison isn't as bad as you think. There's a lot of misconceptions about prison that I just want to talk about and be real about and have frank conversations and have people like yourselves just come on just to talk about their experience and what they went through. Because I feel like a lot of people will judge you. A lot of people will look at you and be like, oh, she's this way, or she'll be this, or she'll be easy to swindle. She'll be easy to because of the way that you look. But they got a rude awakening.
Very rude.
Rude awakening. But honestly, guys, thank you guys for watching this episode. Follow us, follow me on, I don't even know my social media handles. It's actually so bad. I think it's Sandra Camilla Y on TikTok, agov. Sandra Camilla on Instagram, and yeah, for more content. Love you all. Bye.
Don't say bye as well.
Yeah, you do.
Bye.